Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Shatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Shatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavana Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamini. So, I was just reminded by Avaduta Chandra Prabhu that today marks the anniversary of the America in 1965, and I wasn't planning on like speaking on it or anything, but whenever you said it, I was reminded about it, and I was fortunate enough just a couple weeks ago to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is just about 30-45 minutes away from Butler, where Prabhupada first so he was sponsored by an Indian man and his American wife. His name was Gopal Agarwal and Sally Agarwal. And they were living in Butler, Pennsylvania. Prabhupada was somehow connected with his father in India, and Prabhupada told him that he was interested in going to the West to preach. So he convinced his son to sponsor Srila Prabhupada's trip there, which meant that he would guarantee him a place to stay and provide for him for a little while when he first came to America. So Prabhupada, he landed at the Commonwealth Pier in Boston. And then from Boston, he took a ride all the way to Butler, Pennsylvania, which is just like a tiny little town. Like when I went there, I was like really, really surprised, that like the Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada, manifested his pastime of preaching in the West in this small town of Butler, Pennsylvania. And it's just like, like I said, it's like 30-45 minutes north of Pittsburgh. So, I mean, it's close to like at least one metropolitan area, but there's really not a whole lot. It's like a small little downtown area, and I mean you can see pictures and everything. But so the Agarwals were living in like a small apartment downtown, but they didn't really have the facilities to let Prabhupada stay there with them. So they got him a room at the YMCA right down the road. Both of these are in downtown, and both of the buildings are actually still there. And me and Mahotsa Prabhu, we drove up there, and we finished distributing books one night, and then we drove over there at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and just kind of like took darshan of the buildings, and on the drive there and everything, kind of reading about like Prabhupada's pastimes there, and one like really amazing realization that I heard from one devotee, because back in 2015, the devotees, they had a celebration there. They all got together in Butler, Pennsylvania. They rented out like a ballroom, and they had a big Prabhupada Katha type of thing where they were speaking about Prabhupada's arrival in America. And there's many different pastimes of Prabhupada in Butler. He was just there for like 2 or 3 weeks, but he he started so many college preaching programs. He was writing books for like 5 hours a day in the YMCA, and there are still people who met him in those initial days who relate how deep of an impression he made on them. There's one lady who was a student at a university that Prabhupada went and preached at, and her daughter is now an initiated devotee and is completely unrelated. Well, externally completely unrelated, but anyways, this one pastime I heard from Nityodita Prabhu at this little festival that they were having, where he said that Prabhupada would use their bathroom at the Agarwal's apartment, and he would use it to bathe, to like clean everything, and to do his laundry and everything like that. And I guess in India it's very normal for the bathroom. Bathroom just means that everything gets wet, like you just pour water everywhere, and it's no big deal. But here in America, obviously, you don't, you got like the shower curtains, and you try to keep all the water in the bathtub and everything. But Prabhupada was doing all of his laundry, and then all the water started coming out from the under the bathroom door, and it's just a small apartment. So then it started going into like Sally's kitchen, and while she's in the kitchen, she's like freaking out and like, oh my God, what's going on in there? But this Prabhu was saying that she didn't realize that was actually the transcendental Charanamrita of Srila Prabhupada. And he said that Charanamrita, it didn't just stop there in the kitchen. It moved out into the living room, and then it went out the doors, and then it went out into the streets of Butler, Pennsylvania, and then it permeated through all of the streets. So it went to New York City, and then to San Francisco, and then it actually like circled around the world. And I thought that was a really amazing realization that devotee had in relation to Prabhupada's arrival here in America. So yeah, I just figured I would share that with everybody before I got into the Bhagavatam. Yeah, I told them. It's really, really amazing. So the YMCA stands for the Young YMCA, Young Man's Christian Association. So at the time Prabhupada was staying there, it was like a brahmachari ashram, like a very mundane brahmachari ashram. Well, when Prabhupada went there, it became bachelor ashram. Yeah. And now it's just like it's like a little gym. They have like a boxing ring and a yoga studio and stuff. But Prabhupada blessed Butler, Pennsylvania, like big time.
A lot of nice photos too of Prabhupada during that time.
Yeah, a lot happened in a matter of like 2.5 weeks. He got a headline in the Butler Eagle, and he wrote to his godbrother in India saying, "I've already gotten I'm basically making waves here in America. I already got a headline article in the Butler Eagle, which is one of the biggest newspapers." And but like Butler is like a very insignificant place. But he was arranging college preaching programs. He started having Bhagavad Gita discourses at the Agarwal's apartment. People were coming and visiting him at the YMCA, and he was most importantly he started. Well, he didn't start writing, but he was continuing his writing of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the YMCA. So, yeah, that's there. And you can read about that more in the Prabhupada Lilamrita. Yeah.
One of the reasons.
No, it's not on.
Nally. Okay. So, one of the things also is that the reason why that article came out in Butler Eagle was Sally Agarwal was, she didn't want her neighbors to start like gossiping about her, like, oh, what the hell is she doing? Why is she like, who is this old man and all this? And she was very like conscious of that whole thing. So she, in order to avoid all that, she actually just made like this newspaper article for everyone to know, wow, here comes the Swami. And then like, and then Srila Prabhupada came and she invited everyone to come and meet him. And then one of the things she remembers very fondly was Srila Prabhupada remembered everyone by their name. So, sometimes like, when after the program got over and Prabhupada would be walking around, Sally Agarwal recalls that Srila Prabhupada would call her, hey, John, how are you? And like, he'd remember something what seemed insignificant to them. He remembered that and he would, call them all out, and they were all very surprised, like, wow, what a warm, friendly person he is, And Sally Agarwal's daughter used to call him Swami Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. Swami Jesus. She used to call him Swami Jesus. And Prabhupada was there, when the child was crawling, and the child took like the first few steps. Srila Prabhupada was there, and there's like a picture, and Prabhupada, when that happened, Prabhupada like started clapping, and like he saw that, and there's a picture of him, with that small girl, like like
looking
Haribol, like like
ecstatic,
that,
yeah.
and he would.
Stream your phone, I just
This Prabhuji has it.
put on the ashram page.
Oh, I sent it. I sent it in the
Ashram
group.
comms.
Yeah.
Prabhu, yeah. It's frozen. Reconnect. But there's that, and there's all these other really amazing pastimes also of Srila Prabhupada, that he met like this first, he actually did, I think, one of his first programs with one of the professors, that's the picture.
He went to this small college in Slippery Rock. We drove through
Yeah,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
It was just like in the middle of nowhere. There's probably
Literally.
not even a college there anymore.
Literally.
I don't know.
But you see,
And there's a video on YouTube on Shiki Mahiti Prabhu's YouTube channel where there's an interview with a woman who was at that first program, and later on her daughter became an initiated devotee.
yeah.
And
Because she actually, that lady actually wanted to come and meet Srila Prabhupada.
yeah.
And she came to YMCA, but then there was no women allowed, and Prabhupada
Yeah.
was not allowed to meet her. So like, she had that longing to meet Prabhupada, but then like all of her
She was
daughter-
with, I think for some reason you can get in if you have like a male with you or something.
Yeah.
But he was mental and he didn't want to go do it.
Yeah. So like, she was very, so yeah, that's another one. Prabhupada would cook their meal, and like, some of the, and they would eat it sometimes, and that's like the best food.
Yeah. He would cook on that cooker
Yeah,
where there was
that's the one.
different layers.
Yeah.
And you could cook everything in one shot.
In one shot.
Sally, like, she recalls that there were so many things that he would do that was just so strange, like, for Western people. One of the things was that he would dry his clothes by like laying them out in the lawn, out in the backyard,
okay.
just like putting them out in the grass. And I saw Shanta Shiromani Prabhu doing that here. But anyways,
And there's this other pastime of Srila Prabhupada in Butler, where I'm forgetting. Anyway, it's something like, I guess I spaced out.
yeah, there's a lot there. And just
Yeah.
in the first couple of weeks, Prabhupada came and he hit the ground running. He was ready to start taking over the world right then and there. So
He sold some Bhagavatam sets in Butler, by the
Yeah.
way. That's where it all began.
yeah. Okay. So we can move on to Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we'll be discussing Canto 1, Chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions, text number 43 through 45. So there's 3 verses here. I'll just read the first 2 verses and then we can chant the 3rd verse, text number 45 as a group. Vedahamanga paramasya hi yogamayam yuyam bhavascha bhagavanatha daityavaryaha patni manusya cha manushcharat chataratmajascha prachini barhiribhuranga utadhruvascha ikshvakur ailamuchukunda videha gadhi raghvam barisha sagara gayanahushadhya madhatralarka shatadhandvanuranti deva devavrato baliramurtarayo dilipaha. Okay, so we can do the word for word. Let me find it. Starts with Saubhari. Saubhari Utanka Shibi Devala Pippalada Saraswata Uddhava Parashara Bhurishena Ye Anye Vibhishana Hanumat Upendra Datta Partha Arshtishena Vidura Shrutadeva Varyaha Saubharyutanka Shibidevala Pippalada Saubharyutanka Shibidevala Pippalada सारस्वतोद्धव पराशरभूरिषेणाः सारस्वतोद्धव पराशरभूरिषेणाः येन्ये विभीषण हनुमरुपिन्द्रदत्त येन्ये विभीषण हनुमरुपिन्द्रदत्त पार्थार्ष्टिशेन विदुर श्रुतदेववर्याः पार्थार्ष्टिशेन विदुरश्रुतदेववर्याः सौभर्युतङ्कशिबिदेवलपिप्पलाद सारस्वतोद्धव पराशरभूरिषेणाः येन्ये विभीषण हनुमदुपीन्द्रदत्त पार्थार्ष्टिशेन विदुरश्रुतदेववर्याः सौभर्युतङ्कशिबिदेवलपिप्पलाद सारस्वतोद्धव पराशरभूरिषेणाः येन्ये विभीषण हनुमदुपीन्द्रदत्त पार्थार्ष्टिशेन विदुरश्रुतदेववर्याः Please repeat. Saubharyutankashibidevalapipalada Sarasvatodhava parashara bhurishena Vibhishana Hanumadapindra Datta Varyaha Tankashibidevalapipalada
Sarasvatodhava parashara bhurishena Yenye vibhishana hanumad upendra datta Bhartarshishena vidurashadadeva varyaha
Vidurashrutadeva Varyaha Saubharyutankashibidevalapipalada Sarasvatodhava parashara bhurishena Yenye vibhishana hanumadupindra datta Partharstishena vidurashrutadeva varya Saubharyutankashibidevalapipalada Sarasvatodhara parashara bhurishena Yenye vibhishana hanumarupindra datta Tarstishena vidurashrutadeva varya Shividevalapipalada Sarasvatodhava parashara bhurishena Yenye vibhishana hanumarupindra datta Partharstishena vidurashrutadeva varyaha Mataji's want to try? Saubharyutankashibidevalapipalada Sarasvato Yenye vibhishana hanumarupindra datta partharstishena vidura shrutadeva varya saubharyutanka shibidevala pippalada Sarvasvarodra Yenye vibhishana hanumarupindra datta Sobhari Sobhari Utanka Utanka Shibi Shibi Devala Devala Pippalada Pippalada Sarasvata Sarasvata Uddhava Uddhava Parashara Parashara Bhurishena Bhurishena Ye those who Anye others Vibhishana Vibhishana Hanumat Hanuman Upindradatta Shukadeva Goswami Partha Arjuna Arshtishena Arshtishena Vidura Vidura Shrutadeva Shrutadeva Varyaha the foremost. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Narada, although the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, I still know how he acts through his Yogamaya potencies. And similarly, the potencies of the Lord are also known to you, to the all-powerful Shiva, to the great king of the atheist family, namely Prahlad Maharaj, to Swayambhuva Manu, his wife Shatarupa, and his sons and daughters, namely Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, to Prachini Barhi, Ribhu, and Anga, the father of Vena, and to Maharaj Dhruva, Ikshvaku, Aila, Muchukunda, Maharaj Janaka, Gadhi, Raghu, Ambarisha, Sagara, Gaya, Nahusha, Mandhata, Alarka, Shatadhanu, Anu, Rantideva, Bhishma, Bali, Amurtaraya, Dilipa, Sobhari, Utanka, Shibi, Devala, Pippalada, Sarasvata, Uddhava, Parashara, Bhurishena, Vibhishana, Hanuman, Shukadeva Goswami, Arjuna, Arshtishena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, etc. Because we are all surrendered souls, we know how the Lord acts through his potencies. Shatadhanu is Shatadhanve. Does it say Shatadhanve? Okay. Okay. I thought that might have been a mistake when I was reading it, but anyways. Purport. All the great devotees of the Lord mentioned above who flourished in the past or flourish in the present, and all the devotees of the Lord who will come in the future, are aware of the different potencies of the Lord, including the potencies of his name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, personality, etc. And how do they know? Certainly it is not by mental speculation, nor by any attempt by dint of limited instruments of knowledge. By the limited instruments of knowledge, either the senses or the material instruments like microscopes and telescopes, one cannot even fully know the Lord's material potencies, which are manifested before our eyes. For example, the greatest scientists of the world are trying to reach the moon, the nearest of the planets, but they have no ascertainable clue as to how to reach it. And there are many millions and billions of other planets far, far beyond the scientist's calculation. But these are only the manifestations of the Lord's material energy. What can the scientists hope to know of the spiritual potency of the Lord by such material efforts? Mental speculations, by adding some dozens of ifs and maybes, cannot aid the advancement of knowledge. On the contrary, such mental speculations will only end in despair by dismissing the case abruptly and declaring the non-existence of God. The sane person, therefore, ceases to speculate on subjects beyond the jurisdiction of his tiny brain, and as a matter of course he tries to learn to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, who alone can lead one to the platform of real knowledge. In the Upanishads, it is clearly said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be known simply by working very hard and taxing the good brain, nor can he be known simply by mental speculation and jugglery of words. The Lord is knowable only by one who is a surrendered soul. Herein, Brahmaji, the greatest of all material living beings, acknowledges this truth. Therefore, the fruitless spoiling of energy by pursuing the path of experimental knowledge must be given up. One should gain knowledge by surrendering unto the Lord and by acknowledging the authority of the persons mentioned herein. The Lord is unlimited, and by the grace of Yogamaya, helps the surrendered soul to know him proportionately with the advance of one's surrender. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishthang Sthapitang Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamahyam Darati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghuna Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikasa Swami Niti Namane. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O Narada, although the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, I still know how he acts through his Yogamaya potencies. And similarly, the potencies of the Lord are also known to you, to the all-powerful Shiva, to the great king of the atheist family, namely Prahlad Maharaj, to Swayambhuva Manu, his wife Shatarupa, and his sons and daughters, namely Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, to Prachina Barhi, Ribhu, and Anga, the father of Vena, and to Maharaj Dhruva, Ikshvaku, Aila, Muchukunda, Maharaj Janaka, Gadhi, Raghu, Ambarisha, Sagara, Gaya, Nahusha, Mandhata, Alarka, Shatadhanu, Anu, Rantideva, Bhishma, Bali, Amurtaraya, Dilipa, Saubhari, Utanka, Shibi, Devala, Pipalada, Saraswata, Uddhava, Parashara, Bhurishena, Vibhishana, Hanuman, Shukadeva Goswami, Arjuna, Arishtishena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, etc. Because we are all surrendered souls, we know how the Lord acts through his potencies. So this is a verse spoken by Brahmaji, who is also called Adi Kavi. He's the first and foremost original learned being in this material world. And he's completely made of intelligence. And the past 3 verses or so, pretty much 3 verses, are dealing with the unlimited potency and the variety of energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It started off with a famous verse. Not probably many devotees don't know the Sanskrit, but the verse describing how even Ananta Shesha cannot come to a conclusion about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then goes on to talk about how devotees can understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not necessarily that they are able to fully know every single detail, but most importantly that they can understand the unlimited nature of the Supreme Lord. And this unlimited nature of the Supreme Lord is one of the aspects that make Krishna God, and across all boards and all different types of theology, there's a basic understanding that God is someone who is all cognizant, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, all-pervading, and then omnipotent, which means like fully powerful and has unlimited energies and things like this. So this is understood not just from Bhagavatam, but other theologies explain God in this way. And of course, Krishna, he is all of these things, but as we learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, he is so much more than that as well. But as a prerequisite for being given entrance into the knowledge of the more intimate pastimes and qualities of the Supreme Lord, it's very important to understand these aspects, and especially how God is acting in this material world, because this is what is directly in front of us. This is what we can perceive with our present senses. Nonetheless, even the Lord's material energy is so expansive and variegated that it's impossible to reach a conclusion and to fully understand the Lord using just the blunt material senses like the eyes, nose, ears, touch, taste, and things like this. So therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam gives a process by which we can begin to understand the Supreme Lord and how he's acting through his different energies. And as was explained by Prabhupada in the purport a few verses back, there are you can categorize Lord Krishna's energies in basically three different categories, where you have the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. And the internal energy of Krishna is the spiritual energy of Krishna, and this energy is meant to be enjoyed by Krishna in his Swayam Rupa as his original person, and all of his Vaibhava Prakash expansions, basically Lord Balaram and Lord Balaram's expansions, Vishnu Tattvas, so the energy which God enjoys, and then you have the external energy, which is also meant to be enjoyed by God, but which is specifically, the conditioned living entities are given an opportunity to try to enjoy the condition, or the external energy, the material energy. And then you have the marginal energy, which constitutes the jivas, the living entities, which means the demigods, the ordinary living entities in the material world, and also all of the pure liberated entities which are eternally residing in the spiritual world as well. But all of these different energies are meant to be enjoyed wholly and solely by the Supreme Lord Krishna. And one who has understood his energies in connection to the enjoyment of Krishna can be considered to be a devotee, and can be considered to be in knowledge of the Supreme Absolute Truth. And as we hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole goal of the human form of life is to inquire into the nature of the Absolute Truth. Therefore, it's important to philosophically, at least philosophically, understand the nature of the different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First and foremost, because it's right in front of us, generally the conditioned soul tries to observe matter, and through observing matter he tries to reach to different conclusions and different hypotheses about the situation that he's in. And because of this, because they are ignorant to the fact that there are other energies of the Lord, and ignorant of the fact that there is a Supreme Lord, many people who observe the cosmic reality with their blunt senses and observe only the material energy, they reach an atheistic conclusion. But the Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us how to actually come to a proper conclusion while still being able to fully understand the nature of Krishna's all expansive and variegated energies. And this is these energies are exhibited in all of Lord Krishna's expansions, and in his original self as Shyama Sundar as well. In Krishna book, we hear of so many different times where Krishna exhibits his unlimited potency, where he exhibits his his energies to a completely unfathomable level. We have Mother Yashoda looking into his mouth and seeing all the universes, and even seeing herself within the mouth. And we have Lord Krishna expanding himself to all of the cowherd boys and all the calves whenever Lord Brahma steals them. And, we might think that there's a limited number of cows and cowherd boys and stuff like that. I was telling Nick about this, was it you? About the unlimited cows or something? Anyways, I found a verse which helps us understand how Krishna manifesting himself as all the cowherd boys and cows is a very special thing. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse which says, Eka eka gopa kare, jay vatsa charan, koti arbudha shanka padma tahara ganan. Each of the cowherd boys was tending calves to the extent of a koti, arbudha, shanka, and a padma. And that is the way of counting. And then Prabhupada in the purport, he explains that so a dasha means 10, shata means 100, sahasra means 1,000, ayuta means 10,000. 10 times laksha is 100,000 and 100,000. 10 times a laksha is a niyuta. Let's go to koti. 10 times a niyuta is a koti, and that's the smallest unit of measurement which is used for counting the cows and the cowherd boys in Vrindavan, which is 10 times 100,000. What is that? A million? 10 million. Yeah. 10 times 100,000? Isn't that just a million?
It's a million.
100,000.
100,000 is a million. Okay, whatever you're saying, but 10 times.
Oh no, okay, so 10 times a laksha is a niyuta, so that's a million, and then 10 niyutas is a koti, 10 million. You were both right. It was my mistake. So the smallest unit of measurement for measuring the cows and the cowherd boys in Vrindavan is a koti, which is 10 million, but that's just the smallest one, and it goes all the way up to a padma, which is 10 times that, 10 times that. It's just exponential growth. It's completely, it's basically unlimited. For all intents and purposes, we can understand that there are unlimited cows and cowherd boys in Vrindavan. And Krishna expanded his energies and expanded his own personal self to actually take their place for some time. And so this is another example how Lord Krishna in his original form is exhibiting the universal form to Arjuna and to others, and but specifically